Today we are going to make and decorate an Oreo chiffon cake. These are all of the ingredients. First, mix the oil and flour. First, combining the oil and flour won't develop gluten. You can stir it any way you want and you don't have to sift the flour neither. Now sift the cocoa powder in there and mix well. The cocoa powder will absorb the moisture quickly, that's why I didn't mix it with the flour earlier. If not, it will be harder to stir. Now add the milk and egg yolks. Stir until all well combined. Now let's whip the egg whites. Add cream of tartar to the egg whites and beat on high speed. Cream of tartar can stabilize the meringue. If you don't have it, you can add a small teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar instead. You can also use a hand mixer for this. Both methods will work just fine. When you see big bubbles forming, add a third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. When the foam becomes finer and silkier, you can add another third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. The foam will continue to get silkier, and you will start to see some texture lines or trails. At this point, you can add the remaining sugar and beat on medium-high speed. Continue beating until you see some stiff peaks. After lifting the whisk, the meringue is stable and firm and the peak will not drip. Scoop about 1/3 of the egg whites to the batter and fold it in gently. This is to lighten the batter initially and prepare it for the rest of the egg whites. Once it's mixed well, change to a spatula and pour it into the egg whites. Continue to fold gently until it's all combined. Repeat this movement until the batter is homogeneous. Don't overdo it. Transfer the batter into the pan immediately. Shake it, tap it a couple of times to get rid of the big bubbles, and draw a few circles with a toothpick to flatten the surface. Place it in the preheated oven and bake it at 300 degrees for 50 minutes. Personally, I prefer to bake it at 300 degrees for 40 minutes, then increase the temperature to 320 degrees for 5 minutes. This is after a few testings with my oven as oven temperature varies. If I just bake it at 300 degrees for 50 minutes, even though it's perfectly baked, the top of the cake will be a bit sticky after it's cool. So if you have the same problem, you can do the same switch. Once it's out of the oven, tap it on the table once, then cool it upside down. It will take 2 to 3 hours to cool completely. Now that the cake is cool, remove it from the pan carefully, then slice it into 3 layers. Remember to flatten the top as well. I'm using a round cutter to cut one of them smaller. If you don't have a round cutter, you can just use a regular knife. It's okay if it's not perfectly round because this will be covered completely by the cream. We'll need some Oreo cookie crumbs. First, scrape off the cream filling. Next, put them in a Ziploc bag and crush them with a rolling pin. We'll need 2 batches of crumbs. First batch is to be used in the filling. We want to leave some larger pieces in there for a crunchy texture. The The second batch will be mixed into the whipped cream. So we'll need these to be finer so we can pipe the cream out easily. Now let's make the whipped cream frosting. Combine the heavy whipping cream and powdered sugar in a chill mixing bowl. Mix on high speed until it comes together. Don't overbeat it. This is good. Now add the Oreo crumbs and give it a quick mix. I transfer the whipped cream frosting into two separate piping bags, one attached with a larger star tip and the other simply with the tip cut off. Let's start decorating. Apply a little bit of cream at the bottom to secure the cake to the cake board. Apply a layer of whipped cream frosting. Now add the Oreo cookie crumbs. Add another layer of cream. Repeat these steps. For the style of this cake, I want to make it kind of like a cookie sandwich cake. That's why the middle slice is smaller. I want it to look like it's all cream in the middle of two slices of cake, but in reality it has cake in there as well. Now using the star tip, I'm going to pipe some simple flowers. The top layer is usually the bottom of the cake. This is because it's the flattest part and will be easier to frost. Cover the top of the cake with the whipped cream. Complete it with more cream and some Oreo cookies. For the finishing touches, sprinkle more cookie crumbs all over the cake. And this is now completed.